the shuffle.
Soto does it again.
What a trade, what a player.
In 2018, a 19-year-old kid from the Dominican Republic stepped onto an MLB field for the first time. 6 years later, Juan Soto is mentioned in the same breath as Ted Williams and Mickey Mantle. So how did this happen? Let's break down the incredible rise of this young superstar. Soto's rise from a young Dominican prospect to one of baseball's most elite hitters is a story of unbelievable success. We're talking about a guy who went from playing on fields in Santo Domingo to becoming a World Series champion and a perennial all-star in just a few years. In this video, we'll explore how Soto's unique blend of talent, work ethic, mental approach transformed him into a generational talent, and we'll take you on his journey from the Dominican Republic to Washington, to San Diego, and now New York, showing you how this young phenom is reshaping Major League Baseball. Stick around to the end to see the elite company that Juan Soto is chasing. And if you like this kind of baseball content, consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Let's get into it. Juan Soto's story begins in Santo Domingo, the bustling capital of the Dominican Republic. Born on October 25, 1998 to Juan Soto Sr. and Belkis Pacheco, young Juan grew up in a modest household where baseball wasn't just a sport, it was a way of life. Juan's father, a salesman by trade, had once been a catcher in a local men's league. He saw something special in his son from an early age and made it his mission to nurture that talent. The elder Soto would often improvise, throwing rocks, bottle caps, or even crumpled paper for his son to hit. These makeshift batting practices in their small yard became the foundation of Juan's extraordinary hitting skills. As a kid, Juan idolized Dominican stars like Robinson Cano, studying their techniques and trying to emulate their smooth swings. He joined a local team and quickly started racking up trophies, catching the eye of coaches and scouts alike. Interesting enough, Juan's path to becoming one of the game's most feared hitters wasn't always clear-cut. In his early years, he actually tried his hand at pitching, but soon it became apparent that his true calling was at the plate. As Juan's reputation grew in Santo Domingo youth leagues, word of his talent spread beyond the island. Scouts from major league teams began to take notice of the young slugger with an uncanny plate discipline. Among them were representatives from the Washington Nationals. In 2015, when Juan was just 16 years old, the Nationals made their move. They signed him as an international free agent for $1.5 million, a princely sum for a teenager from a modest background in Santo Domingo. But even then, few could have predicted the impact this Dominican teenager would soon have on the sport. He made an immediate impact in the minor leagues, batting an impressive .368 in his first season with the Gulf Coast League Nationals. The following year, despite battling injuries, he still managed to hit a stellar .351. Despite these eye-popping numbers, Soto initially wasn't seen as a can't-miss prospect. In fact, when he signed with the Nationals, he was ranked just 22nd overall in his international signing class by MLB Pipeline. But as one scout put it, Juan Soto is a tricky player to write about because the numbers speak for themselves. This underestimation of Soto's potential makes his rapid rise even more remarkable. From those humble beginnings in Santo Domingo, where he hit rocks and bottle caps in his yard, to becoming one of the most feared hitters in the major leagues, Juan Soto's rise was meteoric. After impressing in his first two seasons, he started 2018 in Class A Hagerstown, but Soto wasn't content to stay there long. He tore through 3 levels of the minors in just 39 games, posting a ridiculous .362 batting average with 14 home runs. It was clear at this point that this kid was something special. The Nationals couldn't ignore his talent any longer, and on May 20th, 2018, they called up the 19-year-old Soto to the big leagues.
Here we go. The youngster has a chance to do some damage in his first start.
At the time, he was the youngest player in Major League Baseball and the first born in 1998 to make it to the show. And a fun fact, it shows that his first game was on May 15th, but that was actually a continuation of a game made up later in the season. So his first, quote, Major League home run in the stat book is listed on May 15th while he was technically in the minors. Soto's Major League debut came against the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he wasted no time making an impact. In his second game, on the first pitch he saw, Soto launched a 3-run homer against the San Diego Padres. It was a moment that would set the entire tone for his rookie season. And as the season progressed, Soto kept getting better. He finished the year with a .292 batting average, 22 home runs, and 70 RBIs. This was a 19-year-old kid playing against the best in the world. He ended up finishing second in NL Rookie of the Year voting, narrowly missing out to Ronald Acuna Jr., who's no slouch in his own right. But it wasn't just the numbers that made Soto stand out. It was the way he carried himself at the plate. He had a confidence that you rarely see in players twice his age. And that confidence manifested itself in what became known as the Soto Shuffle. If you watched any of his at-bats, you've seen the shuffle. After taking a pitch, especially one he doesn't like, Soto goes through this unique routine. He swings his hips, takes a little hop, stares down the pitcher. It's a move that gets into pitchers' heads and shows you how comfortable he is in the box. According to Soto, the shuffle wasn't something he planned, it just sort of naturally happened, but it quickly became his signature move. What made Soto's rookie season even more impressive was his consistency. Most rookies go through ups and downs as they adjust to major league pitching, but not Soto. Even in his worst month, he still managed a .400 on-base percentage. That's the kind of plate discipline you expect from those seasoned all-star veterans, not teenagers. His performance didn't just hint at his potential to become one of the game's elite hitters, it screamed it from the rooftops. His OPS plus of 142 put him in rarefied air for teenage hitters in Major League Baseball history. We're talking about numbers that drew comparisons to legends like Ted Williams and Mickey Mantle. Perhaps the most impressive thing about Soto's rookie season was how he handled the pressure. Here's a kid who went from playing in Class A to facing Clayton Kershaw in the span of a few months, yet he never seemed fazed. Whether it was at the plate, in a crucial situation, or fielding questions from the media, he always seemed to be in control. Soto's ability to stay cool under pressure was on full display when he became the youngest player to steal 3 bases in a game, breaking Rickey Henderson's record. And think about that for a second. He wasn't just hitting well, he was in the conversation with one of, if not the greatest, base stealer of all time. So if Juan Soto's rookie season was impressive, his postseason performance in 2019 was nothing short of legendary. At the ripe age of 20 years old, Soto played a crucial role in the Washington Nationals' first ever World Series victory, cementing his status as one of baseball's brightest young stars. Throughout the postseason, Soto was a force to be reckoned with at the plate. He posted a stellar .333 batting average and slugged 3 bombs, driving in 7 runs across the Nationals' magical October run. Soto stood out for his ability to deliver in the biggest moments. Take Game 1 of the World Series against the Houston Astros, for example. Soto stepped up to the plate against Garrett Cole, one of the most dominant pitchers in the game, and with one swing, he launched a home run to the opposite field, and he wasn't done there. In Game 6, with the Nationals facing elimination, he came through again, and this time, it was a go-ahead home run off Justin Verlander, another future Hall of Famer. That blast helped force a decisive Game 7 where the Nationals would ultimately clinch the title. Soto's postseason heroics weren't limited to the World Series either. He matched Miguel Cabrera's record of 18 for the most hits by a player under 22 years old in a single postseason. And he didn't just match Cabrera's home run record, he surpassed it, blasting 5 long balls compared to Cabrera's 3. Perhaps the most telling stat of Soto's postseason brilliance was his .400 on-base percentage and a 1,178 OPS during the World Series. Soto's incredible performance didn't go unnoticed. He was awarded the Babe Ruth Award as the postseason MVP, sharing the honor with his teammate Steven Strasburg. If Juan Soto's journey up to this point was impressive, his approach at the plate is downright revolutionary. And it's not because of his power or his batting average. It's his uncanny ability to control the strike zone. Let's break it down. Soto's plate discipline off the charts. We're talking about a walk rate that consistently outpaces his strikeout rate. In fact, as of 2023, Soto's career walk rate stood at an incredible 15.8%. To put that into perspective, that's higher than most players' best single-season walk rates. And he's been doing that year in and year out. But he isn't just taking walks. He's making pitchers pay when they do throw strikes. In 2020, he won the NL batting title, yes, shortened season, with a ridiculous .351 average. Oh, and just for good measure, he also led the league in on-base percentage at .490. And slugging percentage, .695. What makes his approach so unique is his ability to lay off pitches outside the strike zone. According to the metrics, he has the lowest swing rate on pitches outside the zone among qualified hitters. That means he's not guessing up there. He knows exactly what he's doing, what he's looking for, and he has the patience to wait for it. The combination of power and patience puts Soto in elite company. Again, he isn't just a walking machine. When he does decide to swing, he makes it count. His ability to hit the ball to all fields makes him a nightmare for defensive shifts. And when he gets to 2 strikes, watch out. Soto's 2-strike approach, where he crouches down, chokes up on the bat, allows him to shorten his swing and make better contact under pressure. Former hitting coach Kevin Long summed it up best when he said, "He's going to hit, he's going to take his walks, he's going to produce, period." That's the kind of reliability that makes Soto one of the most feared hitters in the game. Just when Juan Soto seemed to have settled into his role as the Washington Nationals franchise player, baseball reminded us that it's a business first. In a move that sent shockwaves throughout the league, the Nationals traded Soto to the San Diego Padres in August of 2022. The Nationals, facing a rebuild, decided to part ways with their young superstar rather than risk losing him to free agency. In return, they received a haul of top prospects and established players. For Soto, it meant leaving the only MLB organization he'd ever known. At first, the transition wasn't smooth sailing. He struggled to find his rhythm in San Diego, batting just .236 in 52 games with the San Diego Padres in 2022. There's a pretty big contrast to the dominant performances we'd come to expect from him. But if there's one thing we learned about Soto, it's that he doesn't stay down for too long. In 2023, he came back with a vengeance. Soto crushed 35 home runs and led the league with 132 walks. And just when it seemed like Soto was settling into his life as a Padre, baseball threw another curveball. On December 6th, 2023, the New York Yankees acquired Soto in a blockbuster trade. Once again, Soto found himself packing his bags and heading to the Big Apple. The Yankees, known for their big moves and even bigger expectations, saw in Soto a player who could transform their lineup, and they weren't wrong. Soto signed a 1-year, $31 million contract with the Yankees for the 2024 season, avoiding arbitration and setting himself up for a massive payday in free agency the following year. In fact, The Athletic's Jim Bowden predicted it's going to be over $500 million. In his early days with the Yankees, Soto already shown why he was worth the investment. His .423 on base percentage is the highest among active players and ranks 19th all-time among batters with at least 3,000 plate appearances. That's historically great. One of the more underrated aspects of how impressive Soto has been is his ability to perform at an elite level across multiple teams. Whether he's in Washington, San Diego, New York, he remains one of the most feared hitters in the game, and that speaks to his mental approach to the game. He doesn't let external factors affect his performance at the plate, and when asked about the pressure of playing in New York, Soto said, "I don't care about the pressure of the fans or whatever they say. I think it's going to be more fun than pressure." Soto's fellow players are in awe of his skills too. Max Scherzer, a future Hall of Famer who played with Soto in Washington, once said, "He's got some of the best plate discipline I've ever seen." And coming from a pitcher of Scherzer's caliber, that's high praise. When we look at Soto's career so far, it's hard not to draw comparisons to some of the all-time greats. His combination of power, patience, consistency at such a young age puts him in rarefied air. Through his age 24 season, Soto's career 158 OPS plus, a stat that measures overall offensive production, is the third highest in MLB history, behind only Mike Trout and Ted Williams. That's the kind of company you want to keep if you're aiming for Cooperstown. With all this on-field production, Soto's impact goes beyond his on-field performance. He's become one of the most marketable young stars in the game. He's secured major endorsement deals with brands like Under Armour and Lids, further cementing his status as one of baseball's brightest stars. Perhaps most impressive about Soto is that he hasn't let his success go to his head. He remains committed to giving back to his community, both in the Dominican Republic and in the cities where he's played. He's donated $200,000 to support Dominican Olympians and works to provide clean water to communities in need. He's also been involved in various charitable initiatives, including youth baseball programs and COVID-19 relief efforts. As we look to the future, Juan Soto's legacy is already taking shape. With 4 All-Star selections and 4 Silver Slugger awards under his belt, he's racking up accolades at a historic pace. His career .431 on-base percentage ranks him among the best in MLB history for players through their age 24 season. Experts are already penciling him in for Cooperstown, and there's talk of a record-breaking contract when he hits free agency. Again, Kevin Long, his former hitting coach, summed it up best. Soto is about as reliable as it gets in this game. He's going to hit, he's going to take his walks, he's going to produce, period. And in the end, Soto is redefining baseball for a new generation. And if you like this kind of content, consider watching more right here. We'll see you next time.